Ananussutesu dhammesu Chakkum udapadi Jnanam udapadi Panya udapadi Vicha udapadi Aloko udapadi. Good evening, Dharma friends. Let me welcome you all to our weekly Sutta study class once again. I was not able to conduct this Sutta study class for several weeks due to the Katina related events as a part of changing the class day and continue the class. We were trying to do it Tuesday, but it didn't work well due to the lack of participation. So we are very happy that we finished the annual Katina ceremonies and conduct the normal program as usual. So now we have enough time to get ready for Saturday evening Sutta study program and conduct it on every week. If not, we have special programs. So I think you also join the Saturday's evening Sutta study class with the same intention. Aloko udapadi, the very word you happen to listen to from the audio means the kind of light, rise. This light is nothing but the wisdom. Wisdom is compared to a light in our mind. When the wisdom arises, the darkness of ignorance is gone. This is the very reason why we study Dharma in the suttas. When we go into suttas and excavate the Dharma, which is necessary for us, we are going to get the basic, very authentic Dharma from the Buddha himself and the noble disciples as well. So that we are very fortunate to have time to study Sutta and enrich our mind with some qualities. Let us begin the Sutta studies today by paying homage to the Supreme Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. May you all be able to keep your attention, well and understand the Dhamma during this 15 minutes Sutta study class. And may you be able to slowly, gradually reach to the, peak of the Dharma practice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, for Sutta studies, we selected a wonderful discourse from the Middle-end discourses of the Buddha called Majjhima Nikaya. This sutta is the sutta number 56 from the entire Majjhima Nikaya. There are 152 suttas in the section, and this is the 56th. That means this belongs to the second category of second book. The whole 152 has been categorized into 3 books. and this come from the first section of the second books. The sutta title is Upali Sutta, the discourse to Upali. This is a very interesting sutta in terms of how the Buddha explained the Dhamma to someone who is already from another religion or a spiritual tradition to make sense the Dharma. And at the same time, it is also interesting that how one could understand the Dhamma when things are explained very well. It is this sutta is a wonderful expression of the Buddha's qualities in teaching Dhamma to someone who is already in another tradition with some knowledge. So Upali is a lay person. He was disciples of Nigantanatha Putta, the Jain leader. He was not an average disciples of Jain leader. He was the main benefactor of the Jain leader and the whole sect. He was a very successful business person. He was very rich too. His house seems very huge palace-like things, which allow many people to come and do businesses. And so basically, Upali was very famous as a very successful individual in many ways. So therefore, Upali seems very skilled in understanding certain businesses and literature, especially the religious tradition, so that we can see from the discourse that Upali is being targeted by several religious leaders, because when he is the supporter or benefactor for the particular sector, they are not going to worry about the food. They are not going to worry about the other requirements for living. So that Upali was famous among different sectors of spiritual tradition at that time. So if you carefully read the entire discourse, you can see that it also tells us how one can develop Shraddha, the confidence on the Buddha and his teaching and his followers, and there is no chance for him to go back to another teaching set of spiritual tradition, because developing Shraddha, if happens with the basis of understanding, is a quality of mind which understands so many things. So the avicca pasada, we call this particular Pali word the unwavering confidence of the Buddha, avicca pasada. Avicca pasada also on could be on the Dhamma, could be on the Sangha, could be on the principles. So when you have understood the things very clearly, there is nothing for you to wave your mind on certain things. You are straightforward. You know it very well. You taste it very well, so that you know. The proper or rational Shraddha is something like that. So we can see that arising in Upali's mind through the gradual explanation by the Buddha, and at some point he was given a chance to listen to the deep teaching of the Buddha called Samukhansika Desana. In that, he listened to the very nature of mind and body, so that he was able to attain to the first stage of enlightenment called Sotapanna. At the in the 70% of the discourse, you can see that Upali got into not only just disciples of the Buddha, but he also made sure to attain to first stage of enlightenment. Then the later part of the discourse, we see that Nigantanatha Buddha and his students come to the place where Upali was so happy about his conversion, and then there was a discussion going on, and they are Upali as a stream winner now, or disciples of the Buddha now, speak about the greatness of the Supreme Buddha in poetic way, and there we see that Nigantanatha Buddha shocked very much, and he vomited. It is said he vomited bloods, and a few days after Nigantanath Buddha passed away. So we can see this from the commentaries that that Upali, losing Upali from his lay discipleship is a great loss for him, and he was aging, and all the other factors might come together for him to die. So this is Upali Sutta. We'll try our best to explain it, and you also try your best to get the points that we say, and also something else you as you feel, so that the discussion part would be then really interesting. If I give a summarized version, I think I gave a little bit, but if I talk about a little bit more, I think it will help those individuals who have not read the sutta. If you really care, if you read the sutta, you can see that. Give me a second. I get into the sutta. One of the disciples of the Nigantanatha Buddha, Jain leader, is called Diga Tapasi. His name is Diga Tapasi. So there was a discussion, a meeting between the Buddha and Diga Tapasi. So their discussion was about karma. So the differences between Buddhism and Jainism always, depend on what they taught. Basically, karma. One of the things is karma. In Buddhism, the Buddha talks about the intention as the karma. In Jainism, Nigantanatha Buddha talks about the karma as physical action. So we know that we have three kinds of action: physical action, verbal action, and mental action. So mental action is primary because the body could not function if there is no mind with intention. The words may not be uttered if not the mind creates the idea in the mind. It's called intention. So basically, we know that the chetana, the intention, is the bigger thing. So in Buddhism, it is emphasized very much. But when you come to the teaching of the Nigantanatha Buddha, they basically talks about the importance of physical action, because they superficially observe that using body you kill living beings, steal, abuse, tell lies, use all kinds of bad things physically, so that they think that stopping all these physical actions, wrongdoings, you are in the safe place. But they never thought that the mind is the main runner of this process, main partner of this process. So the discussion between the Buddha and Digatapasi simply goes on like that. Then Digatapasi went to see his teacher Nigantanatha Buddha. There Upali was also talking to Nigantanatha Buddha. Then Digatapasi suggested the Buddha to send someone or to defeat the Buddha, because the Buddhas, according to them, the Buddhas idea about intention, the mind, is wrong. They thought that they could defeat the Buddha by way of arguing, by way of presenting their teaching, and so forth. Let's go into the discussion so that we can learn all more. Let me find the discourse. All right, this is the discourse. Thus I have heard, at one time the Buddha was staying in Pavarika's mango grove near Nalanda. It's in the vicinity of Rajgir. Nalanda is a famous place for wisdom, the knowledge, and Pavarika's mango grove. The mango garden is called Pavarika. So the Buddha was there. Then Digatapasi visit the Buddha over there and had that discussion. We already had it. There we talk about the three. They use the word Kaya Danda, Vachi Danda, Mano Danda. Danda is a rod, type of wood. So when the Buddha asked from Digasapati about the teaching of Nigantana, the Buddha, this is a kind of question that what basically your teacher's teaching talk about. Then Digatapasi told the Supreme Buddha that our teacher mainly talk about three roads for the doing. This is how it says. Niganta Nathaputta declares three roads for the doing, the occurrence of evil action, that is to say, the road that is the body, Kayadanda, the road that is speech, Vachidanda, the road that is the mind, Manodanda. Then Buddha asked how Digatapasi is the road that is body, one thing, the road that is speech, another, and the road that is the mind, still another. The road that is the body, the Digatapasi's answer is the road that is the body is one thing, the road that is speech, they are separate, they are single factors. So then the Buddha asked, out of these three, which is the main, then most blamable, most in terms of doing bad things, the most blamable is Kayadanda, the occurrence, the road that is the body. Anything you do from your body is the most, responsible, blamable things. Then we can see that the Buddha asked the same question 3 times just to confirm it. If you go to the legislature, if you go to parliament, if you go to such places, you have first, hearing, second hearing, third hearing, then only you confirm something. Likewise, Buddha asked the question 3 times. Are you saying that the bodily action is the most blamable, very important thing? Yes, yes, yes. Digatapasi answered yes. We, according to our teacher's teaching, we mainly focus on bodily action. But when it comes to Buddha's teaching, the Digatapasi asked the question, when this, how many kinds of rods or does Gautama, the Buddha, declare for the doing, for the occurrence of evil action? Tigatapasi asked, okay, I told you what our teacher says, and tell me what you are teaching. How many actions you talk about, and which one is the most important one? The Buddha said bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. As we all know, these are the 3 doors for us to do action, and the most blamable in terms of doing bad things, most blamable action is mental action. In terms of doing good things, most appreciated action is mental action, because we know from the first stanza of the Dhammapada and many statements in elsewhere in suttas, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma, the mind is the forerunner, the mind is the creator, the mind is doing every kind of actions. So physical and verbal actions are used by the mind for complete the action. So this is what the Buddha said to Digatapasi. Then Digatapasi also got the confirmation from the Buddha by asking the same question 3 times. Then we can see that Digatapasi left the Buddha and reached Nigantana, the Buddha, his teacher, and explained every step of the discussion between himself and the Buddha. Then we can see Nigantana Buddha said to Digatapasi, giving answer to the recluse Gautama by somebody is important. By one of us should go. Then Digantanath Buddha, spoke about the their supremacy in terms of understanding this particular Dhamma. Even somebody who understand their teaching in a surface levels can go and defeat the Buddha. That's how the teacher of Jain talks about. There we can see Upali. So Upali is considered one of the scholars in Jain tradition, and he came forward and said that I can go and defeat the Gautama Buddha by asking these questions. Digatapassi rejected the idea because as you see, they believe that the Buddha has a particular power to convert people from people's basic traditions to what the Buddha taught. It is really interesting to read the statement given by all these individuals here in the sutta. I will read it for you. When this was said, the Upali said to the Nigantanatha Buddha, it is very good. The answer to recluse Gautama has been given by the Venerable Digatapassi, like a very skillful devotee of the Nigantanatha Buddha. So I also can go and do the same thing, and I can defeat the recluse Gautama by asking the question. I will go and refute the recluse Gautama's doctrine based on this statement. If the recluse Gautama maintain this before me, just as he has done before the Digatapassi. So just like a strong man taking something very simple and throw it away for long distance, I can take the statement, argument by the recluse Gautama and put him down. That's how Upali's confidence on this particular Dhamma is. So then we can see Digatapassi objected the idea, because Digatapassi, the main disciple, the disciples of Nigantanatha Buddha, thought that the Gautama Buddha had a particular skill. This is how it says. The recluse Gautama is a magician. It's a trickster. So Gautama Buddha is a magician, and he knows conversion magic. It's called Avartani Maya in Pali. So do not send our main benefactor, main disciple Upali to the Supreme Gautama Buddha, because he had a trick. He has a magical trick which convert other people. I have seen this many times, that even kings of the countries, top level of administration, top level of business, have gone refused to the Gautama Buddha, so that I'm afraid that you shouldn't do that. So let's say let's send somebody else, not Upali. But the teacher Nigantanatha Buddha was overconfident and said that I'm really okay with this. You go and defeat Gautam Buddha. Perhaps the Gautam Buddha will become a student of you, which is a great thing for us. Then we can see from the discourse that Upali went to see the Buddha. Upali basically, even though people went to the Buddha for argument, first and foremost, they share their initial ideas in a very polite way. We can see this from Upali also, that first they talk about here and there certain things that related to normal life. Then Upali asked, did Digatapassi, the disciples of Nigantanath Buddha, come and talk to you? Yes. did you say to him that intention, the mental action is the most important things with regard to good and bad? Yes, but in our teaching, we talks about the action. Bodily action is the most important thing with regard to good and bad, so that we can prove it. Then we can pay attention to the discussion between the Buddha and Upali. Upali said to the Buddha that uh, how can mind does so many things, everything, and how can mind become the primary thing to consider in terms of doing karma? The Buddha did not answer this quickly and in a direct way, but the Buddha got kind of simile or some other questions, so that the end results would be very nice, the Buddha thought. What do you think, Upali? Here, some Nigantas might be afflicted. So Buddha got the kind of willingness from consent from Upali to ask some question. Upali said, okay, you may ask anything and I would participate. What do you think, Upali? This is the thing. Basically, Upali emphasized the fact that karma is done by physical action. Whereas the Buddha in his teaching talks about the main thing for karma is the intention. So keep this in mind when you listen to the arguments. So the Buddha said that suppose one of your Nigantas, one of your disciples, got some ailments, or they got some physical pain, maybe they are gravely ill. So basically, Nigantas are very extremist. If you have studied Jainism a little bit, you come across this statement that they do not even drink water without cleaning it, without what you call strain it carefully. They do not walk on the road sometime because of the insects. They think that it is a bad action, so they even do not do such things just because they think that they are killing a lot of animals who are tiny and invisible. So they are very extreme religious tradition. So drinking water is therefore is an interesting action. Sometimes they drink cold water. They do not want to warm it up, thinking that the insects in the water is killed by the action. So anyway, when the Buddha asked that the disciples of Nigantanath Buddha is gravely ill, and he drinks he refuses cold water, he uses hot water, because when you are in that situation, you cannot drink cold water. He expects hot water. So you not getting cold water, he gets hot water now. And because of that, so perhaps this disciple, practice a rule that I do not drink hot water at all because I kill animals. At the end of the life, he thinks that I drink hot water. So if this idea about the violation of the Vinay rules comes to his mind at the last moment of his life, what is going to happen in the next life? Then the Upali said that he might be in divine world, and due to the violation of Vinay rules at the last moment of his life, he might be suffering from it. Then the Buddha quickly asked the question, please be careful, be mindful about what you said before and what you are saying now, because you said that physical action is the most blamable action in terms of experiencing suffering. So you first talk about it. Now you are talking about how the rebirth takes place. It is basically because of the intention of the mind. It is because of the last thought of the mind. So the divine existence is not decided by physical action, physicality. It is decided by the mind. So be careful when you talk about. Please match your ideas first one to the second one. But here you mixed up. You talk about the importance of the physical action. Before right now, you slowly accepting my idea that the most important thing with regard to action is the intention of the mind. So that is the first mind-bound question. And then the second answer, karma, Buddha talks about what do you think household? Here Niganta is restrained by the four restraint. So another teaching in Nigantas is four type of restraint. Sabbhavari varito. Restrained by the restraint regarding all waters. Second one regarding all Sabbhavari varito. So basically your sangvara, your restraint is with regard to water is such so that you try your best to be away from various things. Yeah, here we see that Buddha pointed out that restraint is not basically based on how you drink water and which way you use water and which way you think this and that. It depends on depends on your mind. So having said this by the Buddha, Upali understood the point very well. However, Pali did not show it by words. Even though, Bante, you told me this and that, I still stay with my original idea. This is how he said, Bante, even though the Buddha has spoken, thus still the rod or the kaya, the body is the main thing, most blamable thing in terms of doing evil action. So then the Buddha had to explain further down. There we see the third answer. Intention is a mental act. So what do you think, Upali? Is this Niganta, is this Nalanda is a powerful and prosperous, crowded and teeming with people? Yes, Bante. The Nalanda is a powerful, prosperous place, crowded with a lot of people. So then what do you think, Upali? If suppose a person were to come here and brandishing a sword, person come with a very sharp sword and kill all human beings. In Nalanda, just like you go to a banana garden and cut all the bananas very quickly because banana, it's not that difficult to cut banana tree into pieces at once. They are very soft. Likewise, you go to Nalanda where a lot of people live in Rajgir and kill each and every living beings, every humans by the sharp thought. Then what do you think, Upali? Would this man be able to make all the living beings in Nalanda die into a single pile of flesh? Nalanda into a single pile. Yeah, Bante, even if 10 person, Bante, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 would not be able to make all the living beings in Nalanda into a piles of flesh. Where what it means that it is possible. Then the second question is, what do you think? Suppose a recluse or a particular meditator uh, or a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, whoever is doing meditation, gain psychic powers. accomplish his mission with psychic power. So you meditate and you now have that psychic power. So he's going to make a malicious thought in mind and make a great wish with the psychic power. May the entire Nalanda city, people in the city die. So would that be possible? Would that be doable, Upali? Yes, even we believe that the mind could be developed into super jhana, super skills, and you can, using those skills, you can make people die, you can make trees cut down, you can make some sort of control on natural objects. Then Buddha asked Upali, be careful, be careful. You talk about the importance of action more than anything else, but what you are saying right now is about the power of the mental action because your mind is abused. That particular yogi has some psychic powers, but his intention, his mind is polluted by anger. So he killed all the people in Nalanda. So where this come from? It is from your mind. The person who had psychic power make a determination from his mind to kill all. Then his power from here, the power of his mind is much more than average people because he is a meditator. He is a very skillful person in using his thoughts. So now he makes a great wish that may the people in Nalanda die. Then the Buddha asked the question, uh, you are talking about the power of mind. You are talking about the power of intention. So how you said something else at the beginning. Then there is another attempt by the Buddha to confirm Upali the right dharma out of three action. What do you think, Upali? Have you heard of the forest? The Buddha used a name of a forest nearby. So Upali was asked, have you heard about this forest? Yes, yes, yeah, I have heard. So that forest was created by somebody in the long time ago by way of his physical and mental powers. So then even Upali knew that story. When the Buddha told the story, he agreed that, yes, I know a powerful mendicant creates the forest area and the waterfront and everything long time ago by the power of his mind. Then the Buddha again asked Upali, be careful. You were talking about the importance of physical action rather than mental action, but what you are agreeing now shows that you do something else right now. So then Upali um, Upali said to the Buddha now that let's have a discussion, Bante. Bante, I had, now the Buddha, Upali is talking about something else. I had approved of and was satisfied with the Buddha's very first, answer. Even then, I thought that I would contradict the Buddha's ideas and simply out of the why do I do that? How I wanted to hear more about uh, you and your statements because I felt that what you are talking about is right. So the Pali make a kind of trick here that he did not show that he accepted the fact, but he wants to contradict the Buddha more and more just because she wanted to listen to the many beautiful Dhamma. So that is what Upali said. Then he said, excellent Bante. From the very word you mentioned about intention, I realized that I am in the wrong end. I'm in the wrong side. I'm in the wrong Dhamma. But what you are talking about is right. Not the physical action is most powerful, but the mental action, the intention is the most powerful thing. So here we see Upali appreciate the Buddha, uh, you know, he said that the pot which is upside down is not usable for water. So you can pour water to the middle of the pot, but they are not collected inside the pot. I was like that when I was when I agreed to the Nigantanatha Buddha's idea. I was like a clay pot which is upside down. I close my mind to the truth so that I did not see it. Right, but the Buddha, Bante, Venerable Sir, you turn the right, you turn my mind into right thinking, just like you turn the clay pot onto the right side and pour water. You'd open up my mind to the truth from the very word you uttered, and now it's almost satisfied. It's almost wonderful. Then we can see that Upali asked the refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha in terms of being a follower of the Buddha. There are interesting thing happens. Uh, how so? The Buddha said that do not be hurry. Do not be hurry. Investigate carefully. Upali, it is good for the well-known people like you to investigate carefully before you accept the noble triple gem as your guiding, factors in life. Just wait and think about once again to understand whether you do the right thing or wrong thing. So then Upali said, Bante, with that statement from you, I approve of and satisfy with the Buddha's even more. With the first couple of conversation and questions, I came to know from my experience that how great you are. But when you say that, when I say that I'm going to be a disciples of you, it means a lot because I am a wealthy person. He didn't tell these words in the discourse, but we can assume that he was telling the same thing. I have a lot of money in my hand. I'm a very wealthy person, a business person. So where other religious leaders try their best to take Upali into their side. In that case, this being so, the Buddha is saying that we investigate, check whether your decision is right. So you don't know, you don't need to make mistakes. Therefore, be careful. So then Upali said that I had confidence on you about your knowledge and everything. By this statement from you about this, investigation, I really like you so much. The Shraddha level I had increased into a greater, very powerful, situation now. Then Upali was not encouraged by the Buddha to accept the studentship under the Buddhas. They are big because of those factors. Then the Buddha said that householder, you are such a famous person in the city. So taking a decision by a person like you should be after a thorough investigation. So you are famous for supporting Nigantas with the prerequisites. So when the society knows that you are converted to a different thing, it's not good for everybody. So that Buddha wanted to tell Upali always that do not be hurry, investigate, use your wisdom to understand my teaching and everyone else and follow the right path. So the Upali therefore take the refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha for the second time, third time, because of this openness, because of this wonderful teaching Buddha uttered. Therefore, the Buddha, after accepting the discipleship, the Buddha knew that Upali is genuine in taking refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. There we see the gradual teaching. So this is a very interesting thing. I took long time to explain the background of the sutta and the sutta itself. Anyhow, we try to, go into the important questions. Gradual teaching. Buddha has two ways of sermons. First one is from the very beginning to the to the deeper teaching, and the other one is direct teaching to the deeper teaching in a direct statement. This is how it happens. If you are a very intelligent person or the person who has already started Dhamma into a greater extent, you cannot expect from the Buddha basic, you cannot expect from the Buddha sermon with basic things first, because your level of understanding is much deeper. So you can expect explanation about Four Noble Truths, dependent origination, any such deep teaching, because you have already done something. So anyhow here, after Upali went into the refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha with genuine mind, Buddha gave a wonderful Dhamma talk, Anupubbi Katha. First he talked about the importance of giving. Then he talks about the importance of moral principles. Then having done moral principles and giving together at the same time, you are very good in understanding the true nature of life. It's called Dana Katha, Sila Katha, Sagga Katha. So one thing is missing here. So when the Buddha encouraged people to practice generosity, gratefulness, compassion, kindness with generosity, then slowly you practice Sila also. Then you are going to get a kind of divine pleasure. Friends, here the very important thing is that if we are able to maintain moral principles and if we are not stingy, we share our things, you are going to be in a divine state as a human. Your mind is always, is appreciating the Dharma. So here we say that when a person is given the importance of giving and also moral principles, they are your life in a divine state. So now, right now, the Upali's mind is very clear now. He stopped doubting the Buddha with that conversation, and he agreed that I am in the right teaching. Now I went to the refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and now the Upali understand things better because his mind is in the samadhi state, particular samadhi state. So having seen this from Upali's mind, Buddha delivered the very special Dhamma sermon pertaining to the Supreme Buddhas. It is I think the discourse is about the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, and the gradual progress into Samadhi. So the Buddha gave that the beautiful Dhamma. When the Buddha knew that household Upali's mind was prepared, pliant, free from obstacles, elevated, lucid, he explained to him the teaching peculiar to the Buddhas. That is to say, suffering, the arising of suffering, its cessation, and the path. So you see that from the discourse that the Buddha taught about the Four Noble Truths to Pali, when only his mind is really inclined into Samadhi, which means his mind is not full of five hindrances now. Five hindrances are gone, so that his mind is the type of a stage of Samadhi. There the Buddha, gave the direct medicine called the Four Noble Truths, and the Four Noble Truth is explained on the basis of Parisambhada, what is the nature of arising, all that is of the nature of ending or dying. So that is the basic theory of Parisambhada. So the Buddha taught these things to Upali, who is really, really cool now. Therefore, his mind went into one of the coolest, very beautiful state that is called Sotapanna, the stream winner. So this is how Upali, achieved this particular enlightened state. While he was listening to the Buddha, he was able to analyze everything together so that he was able to cut off three kinds of unwholesomeness called Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, Silabhata Paramasa, and he got into the first stage of enlightenment. So now Upali said that I need to go. Now the Buddha knew that Upali got into first stage of enlightenment, and Upali also knew that it happens. Now Upali went home, right? So having gone to his place, he advised the servant of the home. It's a huge house, as I said earlier. So he said that hereafter, this house is not a particular place for Nigantas, including the teacher, but they could come for food. They could come to take such support, but hereafter, no, Niganta or his disciple come inside the house. So that is the instruction given by Pali to his servant. And in the meantime, Nigantanath Putta and his main disciple Digatapassi, along with others, were talking about Upali and the Buddha. What happened? Were Upali able to defeat the Buddha or otherwise? Then they came to know from different sources that he went home from the Buddha. And then Nigantanath Buddha and Digatapassi, along with huge group of students, went to the place of Upali, and then the gatekeeper stopped Nigantanath Buddha. Well, before that day, he was the most revered person at the Upali's place. Today, the gatekeeper stopped Nigantanath Buddha and said that you are not allowed to go in. But do you know that I am the teacher of the whole Jainism and even Upali? How could that happen? Then the servant said that no, only if you need food, you will be given. Otherwise, there is no need for you to go inside. This is the instruction. These are instruction came from the top. Then anyhow, Nigantanath Buddha and Digatapassi reached to the house, inside the house. Then Nigantana Upali advised. There was a particular place that he met religious leaders, others, business people, and so forth. So one of the servants went there and prepared the seat. And well before Nigantanath Buddha entered into that hall, Upali went and sat on the very comfortable, very valuable chair, leaving other small chairs for his former teacher, Nigantanath Buddha, and also Digatapasya and his their disciples. Then we can see the conversation going on in a beautiful way. Then Nigantanath Buddha asked, "Are you mad? Didn't you go to talk to the Buddha and defeat him? What happened to you? Was the Buddha giving you some magical things, pills and so on?" No. The Upali told Nigantanath Buddha, if you are talking about something magic that the Buddha did, I like that magic because because of the magic you are talking about, I was able to see the truth of my life. I was able to convert my mind from average, misguided, situations to a very advanced, very clear mind state. So that if you say that it is avartani maya or a very magical thing from the Gautam Buddha, I like it to have for my family members, friends, relatives, because when you have that magic from the Buddha, you are going to be really intelligent. So from many ways, Nigantanath Buddha was trying to get Upali back into their clutches, but it didn't happen because Upali now is a streamy enterer. There is no chance for them to their attitudes and understanding. It's very confirmed. So that Upali was telling Hereafter, I do not have you in my teacher's position. They are my words, actually. They are not in the discourse. Something like that happened. There we see Nigantanath Buddha, split blood out from his mind, his mouth, because he then and there knew that he is going to have a lot of troubles from receiving food, from shelter, from medicine, because Upali, one of the richest person in the city, has become disciples of the Buddha. So there we see Upali reason out why he appreciate the Buddha very much, why he appreciate the Dhamma very much. It's a very beautiful statement. Here, I do not want to go and read each words, but we see from the discourse that Pali, being a stream winner, speak the glory of the Buddha in many ways. It's called Upali's lion roar, auspicious Bante. This is what it said. If Buddha is compared to a very beautiful sun, the sun is giving the light to the whole world without any problem, without any discrimination. Likewise, the compassionate teacher, supreme leader, the teacher for gods and human, the Gautam Buddha is my teacher, and wherever he is, everything is beautiful, and I am so happy to be the disciples of the Buddha. We can see the parable. There is a parable here, parable of the monkey and Rattapani, and then we see Paligatha. It talks about 100 virtues of the Buddha actually. So there are several gathas which I do not want to go on and on. There are 10 gathas, and it talks about a lot of wholesome qualities of the Buddha. It could not be done by somebody who has no proper Shraddha on the Buddha. Only Shraddha talks about in such a way. So the discourse is going to end by saying that the Nigantanath Buddha left with some pain in his mind, and at the end, it is said that the Nigantanath Buddha hot blood issued fortnight there from the month of the Nigantanath Buddha. So from the mouth of the Nigantanath Buddha. So commentary says that having further severe physical and mental damages, he passed away. So this is Upali Sutta. When you read the Upali Sutta in this manner, you may not be able to get these beautiful point because we are telling them in point form. Read the Sutta so you see how beautiful it is. It tells that if you are in the right thinking process, you are going to accept the Buddha, you are going to accept the Dhamma, you are going to accept the Sangha in a strong way, and you even cut off your craving into a greater extent. So the power of Shraddha is such. So you can see that from the discourse. Okay, so I have been talking for nearly 1 hour. I guess you all have something to share. So take your time. We are talking about Upali Sutta, one of the suttas from the second book of Majjhima Nikaya. So you can share your thoughts, you can add something, you can comment on certain things we say. Perhaps you have some questions too. Yes, I can see the hands of Dr. Pial. So you can unmute, and you're still muted. Yeah, now you're okay.
Okay, Bande. So intention, I say, is karma. Buddha is very clearly, he defines karma.
Yes.
Even before Buddha's time, so karma subject was there, right? And they thought bodily karma, according to this sutra too, bodily karma is the most important. But he didn't change the terms. He just redefined karma. in a clear way said mental manupubbangamada. In other words, mind is the forerunner. Like mental karma is the most powerful. So this is the basis of this sutta. Also, is there? I found another one. I was just reading today. It's a punna. This is Therigata.
Yeah,
Punna Theri. This Brahmin was bathing in the river to get
yeah,
rid of karma, like bad actions, bad stuff, by in early in the morning in the cold water. And he
yeah,
said, if that's so, the all the tortoises, all the fish will be in heaven because they are
yes,
always in the water. So
yeah,
even the Brahmins had the same idea, or are they still? That's why they dip in the river Ganges, and even now, some people go for some religious kind of a
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
That's true. The Buddha was not able to make everyone understand about karma.
Hmm.
At the time of the Buddha, even though the Buddha talk about karma in such a way, people hang on to their own views
Hmm.
strongly, and that came to generations to generations today, and people go to rivers and they bathe and I think that particular event called Kumbh Mela is taking place every 12 years,
Hmm.
and their main thing is going to Ganges and
Hmm.
bathe there just because in that particular auspicious time come after 12 years, you bathe in the Ganges river and you washed all the bad things.
Oh, the same thing. That that's idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, Brahm in not only Nigan, every religious tradition
Hmm.
began as a solutions to karma.
Hmm.
They talk about karma. The
Hmm.
God created us, so we have to do good thing just to be with Him again.
Hmm.
So then that's what theistic religion says. And when it comes to Hinduism, which is Brahmanism, they talk about the same thing. You can purify your mind by way of cleaning your body, and it seems to us that they are not very much on the intention. They think that the body is also important in terms of doing. So same thing in Jainism. So these traditions were different because Jainism never tell that they are created by the God. They are created. They came out of that idea and divided, separated from the Brahmanism.
Okay.
However, they are taking about karma is wrong. When they say that the body is primary important in terms of karma.
Hmm.
So yeah, we can put all these tradition into one basket because of this wrong idea of karma.
Mhm. So the the intention, I guess, it makes sense because with intention you speak, right? In intention, now I'm speaking, I have an intention to
Yeah,
speak, and intention you act, right? So intention is bigger. Like
yeah,
even when you are doing something bad karma, your still intention is multiplying. Like
yeah.
you are acting upon your intention, right? Your thoughts. So I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know how was it that difficult for them to understand that. I guess at that time,
Yeah, Upali got it at once
yeah,
because
Upal got it.
any
Yeah.
any intelligent person, no matter where they came from, which tradition they are hang on to, if they have an iota of intelligence, they quickly
So
understand.
there's a dogma, like it. Maybe they have
Yeah,
that's what was obstructing faith.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were obstructed or blocked by the by different views.
Hmm.
When they came to the Buddha and when the Buddha say one or two words about the truth, they quickly get it.
Hmm.
They are just like lotus buds.
Hmm.
When the sun rays just fall, fall down to the lotus blood, they are going to blossom.
My
So
mind is primed. Upal's
yeah,
mind is primed.
so
Hmm.
that's what happened. And if this discussion uh, was taking place with somebody else, I think if he did not have that intelligence, He may not be able to understand the
Yes.
Dharma like Upali, but Upali was intelligence.
Mm.
The Diga, if you see the discourse, Digasapasi was not that intelligent because his idea was covered by, his
Yeah.
mind was covered by different views.
So that's a
He,
contrast there.
yeah, contrast there. So, but Upali, though he was very devoted to Nigantanath Buddha and his teaching,
Mm.
he had that potential energy in his mind to open it. He was listening carefully. He came to know how bad, how wrong his idea was, where with the first statement of the Buddha. So I think it's one of the teaching skills of the Buddha too. um, uh, the Buddha knew about what Buddha clearly knew about what he is going to tell, and it is thoroughly investigated by the Buddha, so that he can, twist the words even and tell it to people in the way people understand,
So
which is
Kammasakata Samadhiti is like the beginning of the path, right? Just the mundane right view and the
yes,
or knowing about the karma, and then get to the super mundane.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, we can see Neeta has raised her hand. Please unmute and yes.
Smita here, Vandami Bhante. We are all
Yeah.
sitting together. And, I wanted to ask, you said intelligence, but Upali's intelligence, you were saying, but is it his open-mindedness which is more important than intelligence?
I think if you have open mind, which means we use this term today, open mind, just to get an just to say that you easily get rid of your views when the right view comes. When you get rid of wrong views, you hang on to when the right things come. Or sometimes people hang on to their tradition too much and do not accept the truth, even though they understand it is true. But Upali was not in that category. Upali quickly understands that I'm wrong. I'm totally against the truth. When the Buddha, when he heard the Buddha. So yeah, if you have not an open mind, it means that you have blocked your mind from understanding right thing as right. So then when we say that you have closed your mind, you have closed your intelligence too. So suppose we go to a dark room, we do not switch on the light, so we cannot see anything. We just go like this, and fortunately we touch something we can grasp. Otherwise, we are not sure about what we are touching, what we are looking for. So when you close your mind for wisdom, so you are not getting the right thing. So I think Upali, as a layperson, was giving everything for Jain leader as a support, and he was a kind of scholar on the teaching of Niganta also. However, he found out the whole in his understanding with the Niganta's teaching with the first statement of the Buddha. So I think, as you rightly say, he had both. He had open mind and intelligence too. Intelligence was covered by some views he had, but the views are broken down immediately with the presence of the Buddha and what he said. So his intelligence started to arise. He had it, he had the seed, but it was quickly growing, increasing. So that's why, even though he was a very smart person, he wanted to hear more. He wanted to reconfirm what he thought first. So that's why he did not show the reverence to the Buddha for what he said. He pretend that he did not agree with the Buddha. But anyway, he said at last that I came to know I was wrong and you are right with the first point you mentioned, but I wanted to hear more from you. I think he had both open mind and also intelligence. There is a very interesting sub-story of a big of conversation. It's from another discourse. It's from a discourse from Digha Nikaya, Payasi Rajanya. I will take this small fractionalized story from it, which is related to this. Two people go on a go somewhere to find out something important for their life. First, they went to a village where nothing important left by previous people, but they found some wood from the coconut tree. So they're like web-like, very soft things. Then they collected as much as they could, and they make two piles and bound with their clothes. In Asian countries, we usually men and women those days carry a kind of piece of cloth in their shoulders just to use for various purposes. So they took it and tied those coconut, wood-like things, and they think that this is very useful. This is the first thing we found important for us. So there, after a few minutes of walking further towards inside the village, they found some silk clothes. One of those two person throw the previous wood and got those silk clothes, saying that this is much important, much valuable than those things, so that I take some of it and take some for you as well. The second person said that no, this is the first thing I found out, which is important. No, I don't want to remove the things I first found. I carry it. So then they move forward. They found out, copper, the pots made by copper, irons, and silver, and they also found some valuable other items. And at the end, they also find out gems and gold and things like that, which are very valuable. The person who always think that the previous thing I found is not valuable than the new thing we found, he always changed stuff he found. At the end, he was taking back golds and gems and such valuable things to his home. But the second one never changed his ideas. He carried these piles of coconut wood. He said that this is the first thing I came to know, and I collected. I tied it very much. So he never wanted to change his idea. So at the end, one person took golds and gems and such valuable things for his survival, and the other person was taking only wood. So this is a kind of parable given in the Payasi Sutta to tell that some people hang on to their tradition, views, just because they are coming from this and that. But the Buddha in Kalama Sutta tells that compare everything you follow with the truth, with the kusala and akusala. Use your right understanding to decide. So why do I say this small story about two people? Because Upali was such a person who has an open mind. He was able to grasp the truth from the Buddha statement with analysis, and he was not afraid to stuff his thinking with the Niganta's teaching, because he realized that it is wrong. But Digatapasti, being the head student of the Niganta tradition, thought that this is wrong. He was having a lot of bad ideas in his mind as views, so that he could not change. Otherwise, the both discussion were equal. So Upali was able to convince himself that he is wrong, whereas Tigatapasi was not. So we can see that a rising of wisdom is always taking place when you are ready to accept the truth, when you are ready to believe on truth. So thank you for the question, Smita. It's very important. Thank you for your participation. Is there anyone who would like to say something? I invite everyone to think about the great the Pali Sutta. It is a kind of practical story how one transform his thinking from average wrong status to a rational very wisdom profound thinking, so that he was able to reach to his he was able to take his mind into a very advanced level of thinking, and it's called, technically, he attained to the first stage of enlightenment. There your understanding, your understanding, your happiness, your peace is unchanged by anything. I think many of you have that Shraddha into a very advanced state. That's why nobody can change your attitude. Nobody can change your understanding about Buddhism. However, we may be having some sort of practices to be applied further to cut off Sakkaya Ditthi, the wrong view about us. And so try your best to sustain yourself on the noble teaching further in order to confirm yourself that you are in the state of Sotapanna. Yes, Dr. Piyat.
At the beginning, I think it's not related to this sutta, but you said Alok Udapadi, it's like the wisdom.
Yeah.
I think that's from Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also a term called, it came to my mind, Prabhasura Chitta. So Thanissaro Bhikkhu talks about saying that it is like, as you also mentioned, that when a room is dark, you can't see anything. Suddenly the light switched on, you can see everything. So the activity of the mind, you can see. So Prabhasara Chitta is like seeing, arising and passing away all these chaitasikas. So it's like it's a wisdom, really, the activity. Is it that, or is it some kind of a light form you see, or Prabhasara Chitta, maybe some kind of a nimitta in jhana? I'm not sure. I sometimes get confused these two.
I think it's a manifestation of a particular wisdom. Your mind is away from very busy things. There you have that radiant mind. Mind is always luminous when it is not polluted by data. So when there is a lot of information, your mind is busy. Your mind, it's just like you put raw data into a machine, then the machine is working so hard to remove unwanted things, and wanted thing is processed so that machine is working. So how about the switch of the machine, and the machine is not making any sounds? Likewise, when the mind is getting many information from senses, it's busy. So Prabhasara Chitta, the mind is without those information, is calm and peaceful and relaxed and brilliant. So we have experienced this in our meditation, in our good activity. With our good activities, we have experienced this. So as I understand, it's it's because of wisdom. When wisdom arises, technically the mind inclines into that particular state. When wisdom is arising, mind is calm, mind is wide, and mind is directed to further on the same path. So yes, when you attain to jhana, your mind is prabhasara, because the type of layer of unwholesomeness is gone, so that your mind is bright, brilliant. It's like you take brasso, particular things you use for cleaning dust, like things from particular iron or whatever bronze or stuff, so that they are going to shine. So when you use those stuffs, you shine it very much. Likewise, when the hindrances are gone from your mind is in a brilliant state. No problem at all. It's calm and peaceful. So that's why the Buddha used the term Pabasaramidang bhikkhave cittang agantukehi upakkilesi upakkilitang. The mind is polluted when things come from outside, which means through senses. So when it is gone, when it is blocked, your mind is in Prabhasara state, a brilliant state. So I think Alokodapadi, we use that term when you actually attain to a state of Sotapanna, because it's we do not use it for below that, but it's a type of Aloko also, because it's wisdom geared state of mind.
Yeah, because the in the Sotapanna, the Saddhanusari, Dhammanusari, and Sotapanna, the difference is Saddhanusari has the faith, this I consciousness, this is how this play out.
Yeah.
The Dhammanusari has an iota of intelligence. He sees it, but not the whole thing. But the Sotapanna sees the entire thing play out in as so Prabhasara Chitta, I guess. Sorry, Alokudapadi possibly is the term there.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Very nice. So let's try our best to have all these very important things in mind. When you engage in the Dhamma, sometimes we feel we are doing okay, but we have mistakes. We have done mistakes. Sometimes we do, so that we need to keep on ourselves on the right track further, to sharp our wisdom, to sharp our noble qualities further. So perhaps we will own these qualities one day completely. And just like Upali, just like other disciples of the Buddha, we will also be in a supreme state of enlightenment. So I would like to end today's Sutta discussion by wishing you happiness, such happiness like Upali got, such confidence that Upali got, such liberation that Upali achieved. May you all in Nirvana sooner than later. With that in mind, we end today's Sutta studies. See you next week. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.